Lenny Cole, we have a presentation and one of our elder statesmen firemen.
Hi, everybody.
Good evening.
Don't get nervous now. I'll be right back.
Got to have Eddie here.
Told you were.
This is something I brought up a few months ago as far as Mr. Leonard Cole, as far as the work that he does, not only as a fireman but outside the fire department with our kids. He's involved very highly in the government days, brings the kids and shows them around. And Fire Prevention Week, he goes to all the schools and gives the kids a class on fire prevention. And on Christmas, he goes out with the fire truck and throws candy at the kids all over the borough.
He does.
So council really never honored anybody from the fire department. I think this will be the first time that the council, along with Burr Chief Eddie Pletch, is going to give Lenny this award for his deeds to Munhall Borough. Leonard, thank you. This is for a lifetime of service and education to the students of Munhall on fire safety. Member since 1976, past Chief of number 3, Battalion Chief, past Bureau Deputy Chief, past Truck Fund President, Texas A&M Industrial Fire Instructor. So thank you for all your good deeds. And,
furthermore, Lenny's in charge of basically all our public, the things we do with the public, the education of the schools, as Rich mentioned, and he's been doing it for a long time. The things he does with the schools, he reaches out to 800 kids a year in our local school districts. He and I constantly go to places around town, but Lenny leads the charge going to the high rises and speaking to the elderly people in our town and teaching them fire safety. And he's been doing that for as long as I've been a fireman, and I've been doing it for 35 years. He was doing it before that. If any of you have ever been helped since the late 70s by the fire department, chances are Lenny was there to help you. He served every position in our fire service, almost from the lowest position to the highest position, ending at Deputy Fire Chief. He's been Deputy Fire Marshal in the borough as well. So there's not too many people that I want to thank more. I learned a lot as a fire chief over the years. Growing up in the fire department, Lenny was one of the people that taught me a lot of what I know today, and I very much appreciate that. He was a mentor to me. So, and he's certainly an example for everybody. You've done an amazing work over the years, and we really appreciate it, and it's about time we present something like that.
All right, Mr. Cole. I remember a long time ago, Eddie was up in a park. He was a little bit upset about his fire department. He wanted to quit. Remember?
Nope.
I said, Eddie, you can't quit. You got to stay with it. So we need volunteers. Back then we were firemen. Now we teach the kids, we're not firemen no more. We're firefighters because we have women in the service. And we appreciate all the volunteer firemen. All the guys out there, all my firemen out there, they're out there. My wife, my daughter, I couldn't tell you how many times we sat down at dinner, the pager went off. I come home, 10 o'clock at night, take it out, put it into the microwave, and finish my meal. Okay. Get up and work next morning. Eddie's still down. I don't have to do it no more because I'm retired. Fight a fire 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, go home, take a shower, you go to work. That's what we do. We volunteer. We get the big bucks here. I appreciate, I love the people in Munhall, especially the children. I don't know who gets more enjoyment with we have lunch, but it started out as 3rd grade teaching children. Now we have lunch with the firefighters. Now we have recess with them. So I don't know who has more fun, the children or the firefighters. My daughter, she's a teacher at work, she said, that's the best time the teachers have because they don't have to do nothing. We rolled them up, sent them home. Thank you very much.
Hey, Len, you did all that and you're 27 years old.
I'm 74. I'll be 75 this year. I'm still doing it. They'll probably take me to a wheelchair, take me to the schools if I'm going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, preliminary announcements.
I have one, Mr. President. Okay, on Sunday, April the 7th, we have two of our locals getting enshrined in the Bill Campbell Hall of Fame. The ceremony is going to be down at the Heim Museum. It's at 10 o'clock. That is free. It's free admission to the museum that day. And there is going to be a reception at the Rivers Casino immediately following the ceremony down there. But that's going to be $50. So I'm not sure. I see Mr. Dunbar here. Rick, where do we get tickets at for this?
There's going to be a little ad in the Valley Mirror probably next week, but
Okay.
the event is on April the 7th, so it's like kind of tight.
Yeah.
My name will be there, my number will be there. If they care to attend, they can call me.
Okay, thank you very much.
April what?
April the 7th. Who's getting enshrined? Bobby Rager. I'm sure you heard that name before. You played a little bit of basketball in the late 60s, Munhall and at Point Park. And the other one's Ray Brazo. Ray was a football coach at Still Valley. He went to West Mifflin. Before that, he went to Rhode Island University. He was actually the last person cut that year for the Steelers. When he came out, he was a free agent. He was the last person cut, so he just didn't make that. But he's back at Still Valley now again. He's coaching again at Still Valley. So it's Bobby Rager and Ray Brazo. They're getting enshrined into the Hall of Fame. So if anyone, Rick, there'll be some advertisements. We'll let you know where to get tickets if you're interested. Thank you.
Any other preliminary announcements?
Yes, happy spring to everybody.
Yeah.
No. Okay, roll call.
Councilman Ballard?
Here.
Councilman Ingle?
Here.
Councilman Petrizzi? Councilman Stein?
Here.
Councilman Deschamps?
Here.
Councilman Botadilla?
Here.
President Foss?
Here. Okay, notice all public speakers addressing council. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes, must avoid references to personality and personnel-related issues. Our first speaker, Maureen Fry. Maureen.
Good evening, everybody. As I put on my little right to speak, I wanted to talk about that summer health motion that was passed last month. And what I want to say is, after I reviewed my notes, it was very, very wrong the way that was handled because the jobs were never advertised. Not all the students in Munhall were given an opportunity. They have been hired, and it did show that nepotism is running wild. There was no drug testing. There was no criminal checks. That is also wrong. So I'm saying in front of everybody, I hope the next time this comes up, you definitely advertise, because those positions, and there were 9 of them this year, should have been made available to every child in Munhall. It should have been advertised in the Penny Saver. I'm sorry. It should have been advertised in the Valley Mirror, and not in the Penny Saver, as was just published for a full-time Munhall policeman. It just bothered me, everybody, and I just feel that God willing next year you will remember that somebody said this. I find it hard that nobody had either the courage, the guts, the fortitude, or whatever it took to say, I think we need to advertise. And last but not least, I will ask, We were never told what the jobs will entail. I pray to God these kids are not asked to go into the Willis Center due to the asbestos issues over there. And if they are sent in, I hope every one of the council people go in behind them so that you can all share the asbestos.
Bob, do you want to explain what the summer help does?
They just cut
grass.
Okay.
cut grass.
Thank you.
That's all they've been doing for years after years.
What is it?
Grass. They cut
Cut
grass.
grass, all the vacant lots that we own,
Parks,
Done the
That's
farm.
it.
Yeah.
pretty much
Thank
so.
God.
down at Chapman, they're down at
Thank you,
Woodhill.
friends. Thank you so much.
They've been doing.
My second part was to ask you, do we have any borough building updates? And I know I'm the one who brings it up every month, cleaning service or any issues here.
As far as I know, I'm not going to speak for Mr. Petruzzi tonight because he's sick. That Vanguard, we're out of agreement with them. The Vanguard's done. Okay. We brought our public works in on the weekend to do deep cleaning here. And now it's going to be set up for the custodian here of what he going to clean, what he going to mop, what he going to do cleaning wise in here. It'll be like a schedule for him, what he got to do. So much on this floor, there, and Mr. Petruzzi will set all that.
Okay?
Have we started the deep cleaning?
They did that already.
It's been done.
Yes. As far as I know, they did.
They clean up police department.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
And my third, the other thing I wanted to ask was, do we have any news or any reports, be it from the architect, be it from Mr. Barwula, be it from anybody, about the Willis Center?
We are working with the architect. I talked to them today. They told us it would be 8 to 10 weeks to get the process, so they're working through their process. And so hopefully next month at this meeting we'll have something.
Next month. Okay. And my last comment is, at the workshop last week, I noticed the fellow is here regarding the horses on Superior Street at the top. I just want to say that personally as a taxpayer, I don't want to see horses right into our residential area, because that opens the door, and what are we going to have next? It's one thing to have commercial, it's another thing to have residential. I don't understand how you could have horses and not want them to be on a farm where they could have freedom, where they could have stables, where they could have barns, instead of some property at the top of Superior Street. And just say, I don't know where the horse species is disposed of, but if you have a pet, we all know you can put that in your garbage can. So these are issues that I think we need to think about. Unfortunately, last week at the workshop, I got the impression most people up here were okay with it. So I'm just saying, I'm not. And I really do think, I thank God I'm not living up there whenever summer comes and we have 90-degree days. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Joe Laffey. I don't know Joe's here.
He's not here.
He's not, okay.
I believe Joe lives in the back alley.
Gates Drive.
On Main Street.
It says 40,
243
4123 Main Street.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading Mr. Capps. Main Street.
And I know he's had many problems with people knocking on his door at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I'm sure Pat Campbell knows about this. I know Becky probably has gotten many phone calls from him as well.
I have not, but I think Roseanne has talked to me
Okay.
before.
So, and he's accosted me on Main Street several times, more than 3 or 4, about, can we get a camera there? So, Joe's not here, and I didn't know he was gonna do this, but I told him to come to council and speak his mind, and so, for Joe's sake, I'm gonna speak for him for just a moment. And ask Pat Campbell Can we put a camera down there and try to catch someone for doing that?
I don't know that we can, we've nothing wired in that area.
Do we have wireless cameras?
Our cameras on Main Street are not functional this time. There's a contractor that we hired, supposed to have those up and running, they're not up and running at this point. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
All right.
There used to be a few years ago, Pat, there was something called I think it was a slang for a cop in a can, that you were able to move around to different
We
locations.
don't know, man. We can get one. I don't know this man personally, I know that we have dealt with them in the past, for similar complaints. Yeah, I will look into a cop again.
He's very upset, just so you know. He's not very happy, and he gets his blood pressure gets worked up, and he's quite aggravated. So that would be great.
Just for my clarification, the issue, people are ringing his doorbell.
They're knocking on his door and ringing his doorbell at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, waiting.
Is he the only one calling too, or is there other neighbors?
The only one that we've that reports
That's
that.
what I should put it in.
They make doorbells with cameras in them.
Yeah, cameras.
I understand, but, you know, as a homeowner, he has options.
We know that.
Yeah. Okay.
I have kids running through my yard 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I bought my own camera and put it up, and I record it. You know?
I just have a question, I never even thought about this, but do we not have cameras on Main Street
No.
anywhere in our...
We have 6 of them that are functional. Evidently, the contractor, they're having difficulties for him to connect the power to the poles. Mayor, you talked to the contractor a couple months back, and he hasn't,
He was there the next week. I saw him working up there. So I don't know where you guys are at, but I was.
But are they working?
I
No.
was pleased to see that he was there.
there's no power to 4 of them, the 4 of the poles.
That's pretty cool.
So, I mean,
I talked to Sean today, I figured that'd come up because I asked where at.
well, I was gonna ask later on, can we get the cameras elsewhere up on Main Street as well?
He has the cameras, and the cameras are up, he has them. He has not billed us for anything. We're waiting for the other contractor who knows exactly what to do to go into the ground to fix the positions. If you can call him and ask him to please, it would be helpful.
I will call him. I called him 2 months ago, and the next day, 3 days later, and he got it done. I thought he was done with it. So that's,
But they're not working, so it wasn't.
Right,
obviously it's not done.
right.
So I will call him again.
Any help you can do to get that.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the contractor who put the cameras in place, he hasn't gone paid in 2 years for this either. But 6 of the cameras do work.
So there are functional cameras on Main
6 of
Street.
them.
And how many total are there?
12?
12. So half of them are. 62, 61. Thank you. I will be happy to do that.
Okay, our next speaker, Michael Cap.
Coach, if it's okay, I'll just
Hey, you
here. On the website, last week, there was some discussion, and the one thing I was curious, it seems to be money versus all the utilities we want. And have we looked into combining with other municipalities, or having the Steel Valley call, or the county or the state? I don't know if they have anything that you could get multiple municipalities, because usually the coding is the same on the backside, and your front is what's changing. So I mean, as long as you're willing, you could get a few municipalities together that say, yes, these are all the features we want, rather than putting 100% of our, being responsible for 100% of the funding. We could put forth, you know, either 50% or 25 or something else, and maybe get a better product, or whatever you're trying to get with the website. So, I mean, I also heard last week some people mentioning, you know, they have friends at Pitt. I don't know if any of the students, as a project, could get involved with that for a semester, you know, a master's or PhD project, or I'm assuming you've already looked into what's available over the counter and aren't interested, or it's too expensive. So that was it on that one. On emergency preparedness, I mean, I was here as a kid, and obviously the trees were a lot shorter. The municipal companies had a lot more personnel and so forth. And with this last windstorm, I know in my area, power was out for 34 hours. And when I called the company, the electric company, they basically said, well, go to a hotel or a warming center. Now, that evening, I mean, I should say, yeah, I guess it was Monday night, the police came, or the fire department came around. You'd opened the Burr building, and I was thinking, well, okay, you can hold 40 people here. I didn't know how many people had, 40 in this room, 50 in the other. I didn't know how many the building itself could handle. And I was wondering, well, all right, if all of Munhall lost power, and assuming it's going to be for more than 24 hours, do we have capabilities for warming centers, cooling centers, food, anything along those lines? Because, I mean, it just seems the landslides get worse, the trees, at least on West Run Road, could take out 2 or 3 telephone poles if one goes down.
Our emergency management director's here.
Oh, okay.
Daryl, would you want to speak on that, or did you hear what he was saying?
We have plans that have been approved by Allegheny County, FEMA, and FEMA on where we're going to move people. We have shelters. We have the American Red Cross, who has numerous shelters all over Allegheny County where we can put up people. We had a total of 5 people show up that night here. We could have done a lot more. If more people would have showed up, we could have opened up a bigger center. We had 2 people that actually walked from the city of Pittsburgh Park and stopped here just to get a cup of coffee, and we rode them down to Marriott because that's where their daughter from Chicago was able to get them rooms. Okay, we're prepared for it. It's just that the people in this borough don't want to show up for anything. We tried to get a CERT program started where a CERT means Citizens Emergency Response Team, where people would come in and work with the neighborhoods, check on neighbors, work with the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and us in getting things established. Nobody signed up for it. We have a Red Cross trailer that back in 2006, there was 10 of us that went to a class. So we were able to put up 100 people immediately here in the borough. We still have that. We're down to 8 people. We try to get volunteers. Nobody wants to volunteer. We use the Boy Scouts to help us set up on different things. When the Met House had the fire, we were set up in the Methodist Church Union. We've been set up all over. We've been on Main Street sitting in the summer in the hot hours passing out water to people that were walking just so they wouldn't be struck. So we're prepared for anything, and we try to do anything we can, but we have no cooperation from the people in the borough themselves. No one wants to get involved, just like no one wants to get involved in the fire department. People have got to start volunteering for things if they want things done, and we don't have that in the community. It's discussed. West Mifflin, we just got West Mifflin started with the shelter team. They had 40 people show up. We get 10. So we're prepared for anything.
And we do have mutual agreements with these other boroughs, Daryl, right, if we need the help.
We have mutual
We could call
agreement.
West Homestead, we could call West
Fire.
Mifflin Homestead.
Mutual agreement. The only reason we found out that State Drive didn't have any fire, I was up there Sunday night when someone on Facebook said there was 30 homes with Munhall without fire. I drove around every street in Munhall, and Munhall had fire at 8 o'clock at night. West Homestead wanted to open up a shelter down in their fire hall, and I'm part of the Red Cross too. We went down and opened up a shelter, and I'm talking to a guy from the city of Pittsburgh for 2 hours before he tells me gates don't have fire. If I don't know, there's nothing we can do. Thankfully, Eddie got the fire department out to go knocking door to door in our section, and we opened up that shelter to anybody in the Gates Manor area that wanted to come. Like I said, we got a total of 5 people. One gentleman slept the night on the cot here from Vivian Drive.
Okay, I didn't take advantage of it because I figured there would be a lot more people here. And I was just curious with all of it as to, in the event, like a major emergency, a lot of times they depend on the cell phones and so forth that won't work, but.
We're set up, that's why the fire department went around, because a lot of phones, that people have cordless phones, their batteries could have been dead. We wanted to make sure everybody in our borough was aware that we were open and we were ready. I brought a coffee pot from home, I made coffee because it was that late at night. We set up cots for people, and we were here, we were ready. One guy showed, two come in the middle of the night and they sat in the chair and slept in the chair. And the two people that were walking, the only reason they were walking because the husband was under suspicion DUI related and didn't want to get caught. So they said they were about 75 years old walking to the Marriott, and I ended up by driving them down there.
Thank you, Darryl.
Mr. Capel. I just want to make one comment about the website, because that's a topic that actually agitates me. Joe and Becky, not a week goes by that I don't pester them. In fact, I'm sure that when they see the email come, the thought probably is, my God, again. But it's to me, it's an easy way to communicate information. So the fact that it's not functioning, it is bothersome to me because I work in IT. So from what I understand and talking to Joe and Becky, we got an agreement to redesign the website because it was antiquated, didn't look good, it wasn't very functional. So we got this small company to do it, and they did some work. We got a test site up and running, it looked good, and Becky was then supplying all the necessary information we had to get for it, and then the updates just seemed to stop. We tried reaching out to the woman repeatedly, and eventually we got a response back that one of her main employees that was doing the web design quit. So she was now a one-man crew. Okay, so we tried to be understanding, we wanted to operate in good faith, because we still owed the woman some money, and she just wasn't doing the work, so we pushed, and I finally said, look, we need to engage other people. So just the other day, they reached out to the web designer for West Midland's website to engage him, to see if he'd be interested in the work, to develop a meeting with him to go over the contract to get, because I actually told him yesterday, if we don't get the agenda out on the website by 5 p.m. on Tuesday, we're done dealing with this woman. We can't go on with it any further because this is ridiculous. So we reached out to him yesterday morning. I don't know if we got a response back.
We do, we have a meeting with them on
Okay,
Friday.
so this is gonna move because it just bothers me.
Thank you.
And we asked him to come in here because he's familiar with what we have, he used to work here.
And I want to say, this is certainly no fault of Joe and Becky or anybody else on the staff, that they've been trying. It's out of our hands to get this woman to do the work that we're trying to pay her for. So, apologies, it's taken so long.
Our next speaker, Ravine Kurtz. Ravine.
Hello, Council. So first, I did want to thank Mr. Falls for coming up. I gave a call to him and Mr. Butler on March 10th. I was here in January expressing concerns about the horses on Wood Hill. And we have several neighbors here tonight. I'm just the only one who was able to get a foreman in time. When the weather started to get a little bit warmer, when we hit the 50s, everybody could smell it. One of our neighbors, she had her windows open and her whole house smelled of horse manure. When I've been recovering from surgery for the last month, went out on my porch. Mr. Falls came up on a Sunday evening, appreciated it, and was even, he said as soon as he stepped on our porch, he could smell it, and the closer he got to the fence, the stronger the odor was. I believe your phrase was that you compared it to South Park, the smell up there. The next day, I did speak with Mr. Verhola, who said that the situation was being handled. Friday, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, I went outside, let my dog out, and got hit with the smell again. Mr. Verhola, I did leave you a message Friday that I've still not heard back from, because my question is, what do I do in this situation? Because what we're finding as a neighborhood, because we are all struggling with this, is that whichever way the wind blows, you know, there was one day that I sat on my back porch and didn't smell anything, but Brittany and Brian could smell it. Horses put out 15 to 20 pounds of manure each day for one horse, and we've got two back there. No matter how much is cleaned, we're going to be smelling it. We have concerns about ticks, We have concerns about an electric fence being up there and children. My question is, what is happening? Because my understanding is that something is going to be going on. And then I also spoke with you guys in January about an ordinance, asking that you guys consider creating an ordinance to make sure this doesn't happen again, to help because other neighborhoods, you know, if somebody has acreage, they may decide they want a horse. Mr. Falk, you said it yourself, you wouldn't want to live with that for your summer. So my question.
When I was there, I mean, we got a good wind that day. That Sunday, it was probably 30.
But it's just kind of a good wind.
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing we need to discuss is, it seems easy, and I sympathize with you, and I think what the answer is, you want us to tell them we can't do that anymore. So legally, we can give you what our options are. And Greg, would you like to talk about them?
So we have an ordinance, which Mr. Kim has talked about in the past, that if a pet or an animal kept domestically presents a nuisance, then they can be cited. An odor, which would have to be determined by him as our code enforcement official, if he determines there is an offensive odor that's affecting the enjoyment of the neighbors, as you're describing, then he can cite them.
And I hate to speak for our other neighbors here, but I don't think any of us want to be calling Mr. Cannon and Mr. Varhola, and I don't think any of us want to be calling on one of our own neighbors either.
Well, we can't just tell those people to get rid of the horses, even if we change the zoning, they'd be grandfathered in, it's a term that we've all heard of, because they have a legal right to have those horses there now under the zoning ordinance. If the council would change it and say no more horses anywhere in the borough, they get to keep theirs.
Right.
Because
And I
it pre-existed that, so you understand that.
Yes.
So the tool we have is a citation, a nuisance. So if Mr. Cannon deems it's appropriate under the code to cite them, then that will start the process.
Well, may I ask then, I made a call to report this on Friday, Mr. Varhola has told me, if it's on the weekend, call me. Well, I called you. It's Wednesday, my phone hasn't rung.
What did you want me to do?
You told me.
Just tell me what to do. I understand.
In my message, I said, hey, I said,
situation.
Mr. Varhola, if you'd like to come up and take a whiff. And like I said, you guys are always welcome. I mean, I don't know what to do. I think all of us are at a point where we don't know what to do.
He's the code enforcement officer. He's aware of the situation. I texted him when I got your message, and he handles it from there.
Okay. So, that's why I didn't bother calling today when I went outside and smelled it again.
If it smells, they should be cited, seems to me.
Thank you.
That makes sense.
I mean, that's not fair to the horses.
Here goes the proper procedure that I have to follow. And the owner of the horses are there. I went up there last week, myself and Joe, and I gave him a warning, okay? Came out after the horses. Okay, he came down last Wednesday, and he told us the necessary steps he's gonna try to take. Okay? If I get another call, I go out there again, what I'll do is send him a letter. Okay, giving them 10 days to clean up after the horses.
I talked to you yesterday.
Okay, 10 days, okay? He's here today to speak. After the 10 days, if he doesn't clean up, then I have to file paperwork with the magistrate. If I file in, we'll say, April, I won't probably have a hearing until maybe late April or early May. Once I take him down to the magistrate, the magistrate can decide on 3 things. He's found guilty, he's not guilty, or the magistrate gives him more time to clean up the horses. That may be, depending on his thing, it might be 10 days, could be 30 days. It's up to the judge to decide. If he finds him guilty, he has 30 days to appeal downtown. If he appeals downtown, I can maybe have another 2 months before I have that. And Mr. Vashik will tell you, you never know how it's going to turn up downtown. The judge could say, not guilty. He could say, okay, and he could give him another 10 days to clean up after the horse. That's the system.
So may I ask, are we just not doing that because it's a long process? Because if I didn't do something because I've complained, Brittany's complained, I know that there have been calls to the police department, etc. We've passed one warning, and I like my neighbor. I like you, Jesse. You know that. I don't like being here. I hate this. This isn't how I want to be spending my recovery.
We do the same thing with dogs and cats. We have more, I asked Chief Campbell to pull out the thing for dogs and cats. We had 262 calls last year just to the police department about animals, okay? Whether it be, cats, dogs, raccoons, skunks, and I'm sure probably pigeons were involved in there. But 262 phone calls. The same thing has to be, there's only ordinances that, like Mr. Ivashvik said, that the only thing is either noise or smell. And that's the legal process you have to follow.
It would seem to me, though, start the legal process.
Like I said, I'll give him a letter, but I asked Jesse to come because he came in front of council, and he said he was gonna make, and that's why I have, so the neighbors know what he plans on doing.
May I also ask very quickly, since while I still have my time, I thought that workshop meetings were closed to the public for comment, because when I called in initially and asked about coming, I was told that residents were not allowed to speak at workshops.
Come, you could talk.
Okay, that was not what I was told when I called in. That's good to know.
I've always let people talk.
Okay, that's good to know, I didn't know that.
State law allows you to talk.
That was actually exactly what I said, was that I thought that was a sunshine law violation, so.
It is.
But also, I do ask council, you know, this is not, yes, it's happening that it's affecting Wood Hill and Superior, I know Mrs. Fry mentioned it as well. You know, this is affecting us, but this could happen somewhere else, and I please implore you guys. Munhall is not the type of place in 2019 where there should be sheep, or horses, or goats, or roosters, or anything. And I understand those animals exist already, but please consider creating an ordinance so that you guys aren't inundated in the future. Urban farming is getting to be a thing. Hipsters love it, I don't know why. I don't like smelly animals, sorry. That's why I live in a borough and not, my dad grew up in Elizabeth Township. I don't live out there for that reason.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
So, and the owner of the property is here, and I'm asking both of you guys, so. You said that you had 4 or 5 acres there?
Yes.
And I looked on the website, and I could only see about 2 acres back there that was yours. Now, there's still,
Like way back, don't you?
I own 4 different lots back there, and I talked to Boomer, and there's like a paper street that goes between them, and being that it's a paper street, I own on both sides, because again, it's 50-foot wide the whole way up through the middle.
so the borough still owns the paper street there, is that
No,
correct?
Paper Street, it's a paper alley, and actually the abutting homeowners would own half and half.
It still shows on the website that the borough property, I believe, because I looked it up. So I don't know if it's been given to the property owners or not. Has it? I don't know. Question.
2 years.
Yeah, River's probably that paper alley.
So, I don't know what the plot looks like. Is it a paper street that when the plan was set? I don't know. If it's a
It
paper
was.
street and it hasn't been accepted, after 21 years, the property reverts to the adjacent property owner. It'll still show the borough, unless the adjacent property owners want to clear the title, they have to file a quiet title action in court, and they can have the property put in their name. If they don't do that, it'll still show the borough property, but it's not ours after 21 years, and we haven't accepted a paper street.
So then it would legally be their property.
It is, but it won't show a record unless they file an action in court to have that clarified.
Thank you. So, my next question was, you were here a week ago, and you told us that you had a barn, some sort of a barn back there?
Yeah, I have stalls for the horses.
So, he's not allowed to build structures on empty lots?
I was gonna say, Mr. Cannon, you did say that there wasn't a permit needed for that, but according to the UCC code, it says, Article 43.1, Section B, says that an agricultural building is excluded if it is an accessory to a detached one-family dwelling. That is on a separate property from what that
It
is.
is not that. What you're reading, no, you're reading that incorrectly. When it says, that's what the word's on. It says exclusion of exemptions. Under 3, the following structures in the structure of building, and it's 1, carports, detached private garages, greenhouses, and sheds. Those are the things. Number 4 is a separate item now, agricultural buildings, and the 5, that doesn't mean that it has to be a detached thing. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4.
Could you repeat that, because I didn't hear what you said.
Under the UCC scope 403.1 per scope, under B, exemption or exclusions and exemptions, number 3, which she just said, the following structures, if the structure has a building area less than 1,000 square feet and is accessory to a detached one-family dwelling, except as might be required by an ordinance adopted under section 303, and it says 1, carports, 2, detached private garage, 3, greenhouses, and 4, sheds. Then it stops. The next thing says.
So they're allowed?
And agriculture.
They're allowed, or they're not allowed?
What?
What you just said.
Permitted or what you're.
Are they permitted or not permitted, the 4?
They're excluded from the
They're excluded,
So they're allowed?
Yeah, number 4,
Okay.
an agricultural building is not it's excluded from in exemptions from the UCC. There's no building permits required, there's no.
So they don't need a building permit
They
to
don't-
build
there's
a lean-to or something to store horses in? Just so we all know, because I don't know this, and I'm getting bombarded with phone calls as well.
Could we maybe let Jesse talk, and maybe he could explain to the neighbors what he plans on doing up there in the future?
Well, she has the floor.
Oh, okay, I thought she was
Can
done.
I just get my answer to my one question is, are we gonna consider an ordinance in the future to stop this? Like I said, I don't think that,
I mean, that could be considered an ordinance, but like I said, like the solicitor said, Mr. King would be grandfathered in.
This is not like-
And then we would have to go through the procedures where he would have to get cited by Mr. Cannon.
And
You
how-
know,
so
he'd
that
have to
that
give him a
goes-
warning, then he would have to give him a written notice to clean up and.
so that I will ask this, since I did do as I was told and reached out to Mr. Burr, and I'm assuming a letter has not been sent, Mr. Cannon. But, and then I know that Brittany called and spoke yesterday, and I don't know if other neighbors have as well, but can you please tell us on what the proper, what are we, how?
He went through he just discussed the process. We're going through the process as we speak.
So, I called in on Friday, so should I assume then
He
that
put the door knocker on, he said he's sending the letter out, correct?
he did not say he was sending a letter out, so that's what I'm asking.
I could, if I can go up there and see if it smells, and then.
We've both called in this last week about it, and.
Like I said, I give people 5 days, 5 business days, not 5 business days.
Okay.
So he still has, I think I sent it to him last Tuesday.
No, that's Monday.
Last Tuesday, I think he came down. Can we have just talk? I mean,
Yes, your friend could talk, sure.
my friend.
They have 5 dogs. I don't understand everybody complaining, but like I told you guys here last week, the manure's cleaned up every day. We change sawdust in the barn once a week. We spray it down with Odoband. We got other stuff that's made for horse stalls that we clean out. We sprinkle down. I said the manure's hauled out of there. I have a trailer. I haul it out to another farm up in the mountains that my brother owns. He does whatever he wants to with it.
Maybe that's where the horses should be.
Well, I got 5 acres in Munhall. If somebody wants to buy that property, I'll value say $40,000 for it, and I'll move my horses anywhere they want me to take them. But in the other part, there's 2 people here that's complaining. They both have fences on my property, and starting tomorrow, I'm going to go through the procedure of what I have to do to have that removed.
Excuse me, I had, Jesse, you know that my property is staked.
I'm not talking about you. I
Oh,
just said there's 2 people that put fences on my property.
There are only 2 people here, so.
There's one and there's 2.
Yes, just address it.
Of course, isn't it?
Yeah. But again, I mean, I do everything I can. We're gonna give them more room. Like the lady back here said, that there's horse stalls in South Park. The horses don't even come out of the stall. They live in a stall all their life. They come out when people come to ride them, and they put them back in. There's places in Upper St. Clair do the same thing. Bethel Park, they all do the same thing. The horses never come out of stalls. My horses will have more room to run. As soon as the grass starts growing, I'm gonna give them more fence to roam, so they have food to eat and stuff.
Here's the thing, I can make a suggestion, because these people keep coming complaining about the smell. I don't know, I haven't been there.
It's not a smell, it's a scent.
Well, let me finish. They're complaining, if it's detected by the code enforcement officer, if he gives credence to these complaints, you're gonna have in front of the magistrate, you can face a fine. So I appreciate your taking efforts. I'm just giving you my opinion, that you gotta do whatever you can to try to stop these complaints. I don't know how you solve it.
I'm doing everything I can. I said I clean up the manure every day, clean out the stalls once a week with the sawdust. We clean the manure out of the sawdust, and then it said the urine smells more than the manure does.
I don't know.
And so we spray it down with Odoband every day.
No, I did make a statement, when I went over there, my nose did lead me to right where the corner was, closest to where your barn is, And you said that last week you were away for the weekend, right? And that maybe the smell was a little bit worse that
Yeah,
time.
last weekend it may have been.
You were away, your son maybe didn't clean it as well as he should have or whatever.
Right. But he said every day since I was down here last week, it's been cleaned up every day.
Could she speak briefly?
Speak short. You're a neighbor also, right?
I am. My name's Brittany Kusecker, and Jesse, I want no problems at all. I just had a baby about 4 months ago. I have 3 other kids. They don't want to go in the backyard because it smells like horse poop. All I'm asking, if you have all that land, please move them back.
I'm moving them back. I'm not moving the barn. The barn's staying where it's at, but the horses will have more travel into the back of the yard.
Even if it's cleaned up, 15 to 20 pounds of poop a day per horse, that's 40 pounds of poop a day.
And I just hauled out probably 3 tons of manure.
And that's, I think that it's great, and you're welcome to do what you wish, but I can't have my windows open in my house. My kids can't go outside to play. I can't sit in a backyard that I just put $15,000 into. So I'm just asking, as a neighbor, as a friend, please be considerate.
I am. I clean them up as much as I can. Every day, they're cleaning up after. I have my other next door neighbors here, that they're here on my part. They don't smell a thing.
I think it might be, the horses are usually right behind our fence a lot of the times.
The horses, the barn doesn't move. They're saying the horses don't smell because they move around and it isn't like they travel with their smells.
Sean went back for one day, and there was horse mortality, even like slightly, like between our 2 sides, like the electric fence we put up and our fence. I was going to, one of the days when I saw you outside, gonna try and ask you this, are you gonna maintain the space? It's kind of hard to shovel.
Wait, no, you're asking me if I'm gonna maintain, has it ever been maintained before? Since you guys put the white fence up, has that property behind your fence ever been maintained?
It wasn't Dan was doing it, and Sean was supposed to be doing it, and
That grass,
my husband does.
that grass has never been cut since you put that white fence up. I cut it every year.
Resolved here tonight.
I have another question. What's it's, obviously it's a zoned residential back there, right there? And this is a permitted use, horses are permitted use in a residential area? They're
Horses
not-
are considered domesticated animal. Domesticated animal, if you hold up on the thing, says horses, cats, dogs, whatever.
How about cows? Can I get a cow?
Right now.
Agricultural setting, in an agricultural setting, that's when they're domesticated. Agricultural setting, they're beasts of burden is what they are. They're livestock.
In Munhall, we have ducks, we have hens, we have chickens, we have doves, we have pigs. And we have horses. We have dogs, we have cats. We get a lot of complaints about dogs and cats. A ton of them.
Yeah, but that's not 20 pounds or 40 pounds a day, Dave.
Okay.
Yeah, but dog, have you had dog feces? If you look up dog feces, cat feces, is the smell, the odor is 20 times worse than horse. Horse manure is hay and grass. That's what it is. They sell it for gardens.
Well, what does this do to the
Honestly,
value?
gardens.
Okay, you know what, I mean, we're not gonna get anything resolved here tonight, I know we're not, you know. I mean, it's going back and forth, I know there's people here that say, you know, about our ordinance, and our ordinance code officer is going to do what he has to do when there is a problem, when there is a smell. And I'm asking the code officer to do that. You know, to do what you have to do when there's a smell, Dave. And that's, you know, we enforce what we have to enforce, what we have, and let's say if someone didn't clean dog dirt out of their yard and it smells, it would be the same thing, same enforcement type thing. Maybe the horse smells a little bit stronger, I believe, but I'm sure it is.
No.
But we're not gonna get anything resolved here tonight, just going back and forth, but Dave, just enforce. When you have to.
Just do everything you gotta do as far as the law goes, you know.
Yeah, we have to follow the law. We have to go in front of the turn. I'm sorry, I say, magistrate. If he is not, or if he's found guilty without a magistrate, he has 30 days to appeal downtown.
Can the magistrate ultimately ask him to take the horses out, to, you know, tell him you must get rid of them?
No.
Is that it is?
No.
I didn't
He
think
can
so.
award money.
You can
Fine,
cite, you can
money.
cite the money wise.
Big money, that's
Yeah.
it. That's his limit.
Did I-
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Justin.
Okay, our next speaker, Michael Aldridge.
Thank you. I'm going to do mine in twofold. One, for the last several years, Dixon and Boone Alley has been on the paving list. I We haven't moved up to the bottom of the list yet. I think we've been below the bottom for a number of years. And something needs to be done in Boone Alley from behind Turkowski's office, Judge Turkowski, to McClure. So that's crossing over Dixon down to McClure. It is horrible. It is, for what I pay in taxes, it's horrible. I'm not counting the other people that are in those 2 blocks too. So you add that, it's unfair that we've been on the list for something to be done, pavement, and nothing's been done. I've asked just mill Dixon. So the asphalt's not the same height as the curb. So when it pours down rain, the rain's not running up against the building. That would be satisfactory, because the last time Munhall Street Department put in a drain, and they had to cut the asphalt open, there was 6 inches of asphalt there. So they never milled every time it was, whoever did your asphalt, he never milled down before they put a new coat on. So that's why we don't have a curb on at least my side of Dixon Street. And the Boone Alley, I'm telling you, is off the chart. It's uncontrollable. From behind the judge's office in the alley, Boone Alley, down to McClure. I would like to quit being told we're on the list and find out when we come to the top of the list as a taxpayer. That's one, and you can answer that after I say the other one, because I see the names on the maps. The manager and I spoke a bit about maps. We are having a struggle. And the board asked me to check and see. We see that we are on the budget for 2018 and also now 2019, and we appreciate being on the budget. And for 2018, we were on the budget for $7,500. We received $2,000, most appreciated, but will we be getting the other, and then what becomes of 2019? This year, we have a multitude of sins facing us. Like everyone else in all these storms, we have some roof problems. The furnace is as old as the building, the original building. We have one air conditioner halfway functioning. We have a door that's rusted out, and also this year, come July, is union contract time. So with money, being that we are self-sufficient, we pay for our own fuel, we pay for our own trucks, we pay for our own repairs. We have a 32-man union shop because we do a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service. That's why I came here months and months ago and asked, could you give us the building and the parking lot? Because we have to do something. We're stuck not knowing what to do. And now financially, the things that need to be done. So those are the 2 issues I have. Number 1, on the personal side, Dixon and Boone Alley. The other side, the business side, is how MAPS is to, continue. We're going to continue the service that we give this community. And I hope they like the service. But we have those issues as I'm standing here.
Joe, you said you were getting some, you asked Mr. Owens to get some quotes?
Yeah, there's two people. Dixon and Boone Way. I talk, and anybody comes to every meeting, anytime we bring it up, that is a project we're looking for. Last year, we had this dirt, gravel, waterway, trees, whatever it was called, some kind of grant. The girl came out, the representative came out, rode with me, we did some studies, some road studies and everything. She said this is a great scope of work for what this grant work is. However, we didn't get that work. We were looking for $200,000 for that project alone. We feel we have another tactic that we're going to go with some of these grants, that we're going to go out to that money again this year for it, and the engineers are also to back up. If we don't get that again, we're going to take this in 3 steps. There's a lot that needs to be done there. We know that, we're aware of it. Bob and I talking about it all the time, so it's not that anyone just sweeping this under and saying the heck with it. We talk about this all the time.
If I could It's not just the paving. If it was just paving, something like that could be done easily. It's what's under the paving, it's the sewers.
Well, Boone Alley is a sewer problem.
Yeah, I mean, we know that.
For 3 years, over 3 years.
And that's what Mr. Rahola here is talking about, looking for grants for the sewer project. It's a huge, huge project because it's combined down there. And our consent decree says we have to separate it. If I'm just, I don't know how much you're, I know Colin, he knows, about that. It's a big problem down there. We understand it. We are looking for money to fix it. Hopefully this year, we get some type of grant. The sewer authority is also looking for grants for that. So, I mean, I know we keep saying we're looking into it. We really are. But if it was just the paving, we could have somebody down there in a month and pave the alley and it would be okay. But if we did that, whenever they're going to the sewers, they just tear all that up and, have to redo it. So we have to do this in steps and it's not cheap. It's not what you want to hear probably, but I mean, that's the answer.
As long as I know we're not swept under the rug.
Oh, no, you're
I've
not.
been saying for years, Boone Alley is curved like
Yeah,
this.
oh, yeah.
It is cracked. The inside of my, we park the cars at. And the car doesn't weigh that much, you could bust my concrete and split it. Boone Alley is sinking underneath them
Probably some of the
sewers.
sewers are cracked down there, sewer
Yeah.
lines are cracked. That's what's eroding everything. That's what we have to get to. We understand that and we are looking for the money to do it.
You gonna fix my driveway too? Sewer cracked, wouldn't crack.
I don't think you can do that,
Mike,
Yes.
to answer your math question, would you like a different answer than I gave you yesterday, or we just reiterate the same one?
No, I said in the beginning, we had talked a little about, I'm a third of the way happy with Matt's, our talking, not 100%, but.
You're hard to please though.
Huh?
But you're hard to please.
Oh, no, I mean, we just need to know where we're going. Like I said, the world will move to the side for a man to pass, as long as he knows where he's going. Well, we're stuck. We don't know where we're going, and that's what the map can't be like that. We got 32 lives responsible for us of what we're going to do, and the 32 lives takes care of all the lives of this community. So we need to know. That's all, and Joe and I had good dialogue on it, and I think I'm halfway, a third of the way satisfied with the answer. Do I want the building in the parking lot? Yes, I do. Otherwise, if your project goes and this gets sold, they're gonna want the parking lot, and then what do we do? Where do our employees park? Where do the customers come to? What do we do? And then we're older or whatever, and then how do we reinvest? What do we need to know what direction to go, how we're going to act, and keep our service at the level that we have. And especially financially, we're at, because we're not West Mifflin. Damn it, West Mifflin paid Baldwin $92,000 a year to come. They have a higher subscription than we do. They built them a garage, a Howder ambulance, and pay for their fuel. We live off of these folks here that buy subscriptions, and you ride in our truck. That's how we survive. Only. We pay for our own fuel, we buy our own trucks, and these damn things are $180,000 to $210,000 a piece now. And all ours are modern, the cots to keep from people getting hurt. The heart monitors are changed every 10 years. It's a great expense. So all we're doing is trying to survive, but if we don't know where we're going to be, settle that, then we have to think of something different. And I mean, I did like Joe's answer, what's possible, but I'm done with what's possible. I need to know exactly what we're going to do. And we got to stop saying we don't know. We shut down the dialogue. I appreciate the meeting where the group came over. We need to do that again and come up with what we do know. It's a simple solution.
We're working on it. I mean, we are. I mentioned to Joe that we're working on keeping things, keeping maps there.
I didn't give him yesterday off.
We're working on it.
Yes.
Mr. Falls or Mr. Varnold, could I just mention, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to this man. He said $7,500 and we paid him $2,000 for 2018. So for 2019, if we owe him $7,500, and according to what I was given last week, over $1 million, almost $2 million. $12,500 to pay is a minimal price. I used maps on February 1st. I understand what you're saying about getting a grant to help with the big services. But I'm telling you, not everybody can afford the ambulance service. And those of us who did and used it, I'm just saying $12,500 to pay a bill off. I think that should be definitely.
We know the importance of it.
Don't you?
Thank you. Yes.
Excuse me.
So my argument was, what you pay the library, you don't know how much that bothers me at night. So when you have a heart attack, I'll repeat it, don't read a damn book and don't call the ambulance. I'm sorry, when you did that at the library, $167,000 a year.
Remember, the library is an ordinance, what we pay them.
Can I ask a question?
It's not ours.
So when you transport somebody in the ambulance to the hospital, do you not bill the insurance company for that trip?
Billing is one thing and getting paid totally for it is another. Thank God Medicare, Medicaid, and Department of Public Assistance just gave us a $30 raise in what we do charge here in January.
Just so I understand though, that subscriptions isn't your only source of revenue. You also are.
Subscriptions is our annual.
Okay.
That goes to our truck fund.
Right.
And to replace vehicles.
Okay.
You know, partially, and we let it accumulate and then replace one vehicle.
Okay.
Our survival is, when we first started in 1996, it was with volunteers, and then we only did Munhall and Whitaker and West Homestead. Whitaker dropped out and joined West Mifflin, and then we just did Munhall and West Mifflin. Then Homestead went under, and Homestead courted Peg Peterson and myself and Denise Blasto, the ones who started, and MAPS. And we went down and we took over Homestead. So that's why we do the 3 boroughs now, and we only did emergency work in these 3 boroughs. But as things got bad and money got bad, we had to go into transports to survive. Otherwise, Carnegie don't have an ambulance service anymore. So Wickley has lost it. You see, I'm talking big money community. MAPS is solvent and we're hanging in there. But it's by a doggone good board. You have a really good board to keep MAPS tight and running, and a very good manager. And now we brought billing back in-house instead of farming out. And that is how we are surviving and looking for every grant dime there is out there. Because it is 32 union employees. And we're not the highest paid, but we're not number 4 or 5. We're around 2 or 3. And paying for paramedics and EMTs so the residents can have quality service. And we have the finest equipment on board those trucks that can be bought.
Mr. Aldridge, why can't the 3 boroughs contribute equally?
Okay, because we do 400 calls, 422 calls a year in West Homestead. We do 1,900 in Munhall and 1,500 in Homestead.
I don't think that should make a difference, so how many?
Well, I mean, it shouldn't make a difference, but you go down and I get the service. No, I'm gonna tell you what I did.
Mr. Aldridge, does any other boroughs give you a rent-free building to work out of? Just asking.
We put $450,000 in something we will never own. We built that building. That was Mickey's garage in the very first 2 stalls.
You know I was kidding you.
And we built the rest. $450,000 mortgage. We paid off. We paid off. And at the same time we were beginning paying that mortgage, we did pay this borough. When Peg and I started the service, and Denise, We came to this council and borrowed $65,000, and we paid back every penny of it. And then we paid lease for a long time. I don't remember how long, but we did for a while. And then somebody on council said, stop paying lease, and that helped us tremendously. But then we hit, somebody come in there, started a union and quit, and we've had a union ever since, which we're not objecting to. We got good employees out of it. But I came to this council, I asked for $30,000 from Munhall. I went to Homestead, I asked for $25,000 from Homestead. I went to West Homestead, I asked them for $15,000. At the West Homestead Council meeting, they said, that's not enough money. I said, hell, I'll settle for the 15. He said, that's not enough money, why don't you ask for 20? I said, okay, I asked for 20. They adjourned while I was standing at the podium. They went in the back room, they came back out, and I got a damn nothing. So I don't know which is more. Zero what I got?
No, I don't think it's fair.
No, it should be paid.
Well, they're giving something now, but I'm talking about when I came to councils and asked for a dollar figure. Homestead gives every year, without fail, without question, without an invoice. Homestead gives every year, and that was shocking, but they do it. Every year.
What about we match Homestead?
No, you got me in the budget. Where's the rest of the money?
Yeah, pay the bill.
What's
Wait, how a percentage of your people?
What's Homestead give?
The bill.
How did you know that's
I know, I
privacy
understand
law.
that, I understand it. I mean, you're saying about Munhall, but you're saying about Homestead. Homestead gives every year. They might give you $1 every year.
Well, no,
I
I'd
understand
be
it,
all
but you're
over
saying
if
they're
they
giving it
gave
every
$1.
year, they give it every, faithfully they give every year.
But you see that truck, that thing plastered, Munhall. You see Homestead and West Homestead, the letters, you see Munhall clear across that truck?
Munhall that little.
Oh, okay.
I want to make one
That's all.
clarification about the budget issue, because I don't think everybody's aware. So 7,500, that was based on an agreement we had. We paid 2,500 up front, then we got to see their books to make sure that they were solvent and that we should support them. We give them another 2,500, and then the last phase was we get a seat on their board. Someone from town, from Munhall, gets a seat on their board to have some input. If we're giving you money, we want to make sure everything's running okay. The last two steps of that agreement never happened. That's why they.
Well, it will never happen. No one in politics will be on our board. No one. Politics, we are apolitical, and that's why we've survived as long as we have. No one in politics will be on our board.
I don't even.
We had an excellent guy on our board, and he ran for school director. He had to drop off the board. No one in politics can be on the board. Politics, as you know as well as I do, I've been around politics an awful long time in my life. It's a rough, rough game. So we don't want it in the ambulance service because it will affect the lives of the people, and that we won't tolerate.
I understand. It doesn't have to be someone from council. It could be a firefighter, it could be a police officer, it could be a resident.
They have residents on your.
They're all residents.
They don't appoint us. Yeah.
Huh? Mark, the chiropractor. Dennis, the dentist.
Will the council be able to appoint a board member, even if it's, as long as it's a council member or mayor?
I can't appoint a council person. No. We're the only community we don't have representing us right now is West Homestead, and we're considering somebody from West Homestead. Munhall, Homestead is covered. We have no one representing West Homestead. So we're entertaining the thought of that. But it'll be nobody that's involved in politics, or we quit.
Right. We know it's, we are here, we are gonna support this, and you know what we're doing with things. We are trying to get the money through grants first to repair the sewers have to be done first before we do any, pave any street there. So we will, I think this council does support the maps, though.
We just need more support. Yeah, we let you look at our books. We have to be solvent. You guys look for that paycheck every 2 weeks. You know, I mean, yeah, we are solvent. We bust our behind. We run to stay solvent. We're just asking for a little more leniency. That's all, asking for a little help.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank the residents and council for that.
Okay. Reports of borough officials, Mayor.
Thank you. It's been a busy month. Thank you all for coming, residents. Last month I met with Representative Austin Davis. I had a long meeting with him. We sat down and worked on several things. I talked to him about grants as well, and I know that's on the topic here today. It's funny that that was brought up. But during our conversation, you know, part of the problem that I see is we don't get a whole lot of grants. So I commend council for working to get more grants and to get a team to do that. Representative Austin Davis gave me this grant book. Do you have the grant book? So you have, so you know which grants are available, and it's a great piece of literature that you can look at and see what's out there through the state. And obviously they're not the only grant that you can apply to. So meeting with him, I brought up the fact that Main Street sidewalks, the brick in the sidewalks is deteriorating, and you know, it needs to be addressed. I walk up and down the streets, and everyone knows here it's a tripping hazard, it's a slipping hazard, it's a freezing hazard. It was beautiful when it was put in 25 years ago, but we need to address that. And it's not fair for the borough to say that's the residents or the building owner's property problem. That was all put there through grants. Maybe we apply for a grant and get that stuff changed. I think it would be a simple fix. Remove the bricks, pour concrete in there, it's done. I think it makes sense. I think the business owners and the community, they're begging for it. They need help. Let's do something with that. So I did talk with him about that. We had a long discussion. He said, I'll get you the book. I'm more than happy to pump anything I can to get a grant for something like that. And all we need to do is apply, tell them what we want to do, and go for it. So I see on the agenda we're going to be voting on someone, a company to take this job on. I think it's great. I think one of the first grants we should be asking for is our Main Street. Is our part of our town is our Main Street. We need to get a clock working on Main Street again. It hasn't worked in a long time. And getting off my speaking, we need to get the cameras working on Main Street. So I'm going to make that phone call, Joe. We can't have these cameras not working. And I understand that it's not our job to put a camera in someone's home. But when you have a resident who may need a little help, and I'm being very nice saying that, he does need a little help. Maybe someone could put a camera down there for him. I asked Pat Campbell to look into it tonight. So there's nothing wrong with helping some residents. It could be a good gesture. Maybe we can use it in the future as well somewhere else.
Possibly a business owner on Main Street could donate that to him as well.
Could. Maybe you could write him a check.
I had your money, I would.
So anyway, that's not the point. The point is, he has a problem. He has a problem. I didn't get a 10% raise this year. Let's not go there, okay? So, also in meeting with him, I've been talking with Dave Cannon. We've been looking at trying to get more parking on Main Street for the last couple of years. Spoke with Austin Davis about possibly having the Port Authority come in and help maybe develop a parking lot on St. Tree's property. I worked with the county representatives. They came out, they looked at the parking lot. Right at this time, their funds are very limited. So they're not going to fund a parking lot right there, a parking lot right there, not today. So, but they did tell me that they would be more than happy to work with the church and possibly lease spaces out there. So there may be some financial gain for them building a parking lot. Maybe they could recoup some money there in the future. It may take them 5 or 10 years to recoup some money, but they should still work on that. So I've been busy working with that with him, which is, it would be a win-win situation, because I can't tell you how many residents complain to me that people are parking in front of their businesses, they park in front of their homes, they leave their cars parked there. You know, that leads to problems. So I do get calls on that. I've not called any of you about it, but I do get them quite often. Okay, so the meeting did go very well with him. We talked about several other issues, and we're very lucky to have him. So special thanks to Representative Austin Davis. He has always been here for our borough, and he's certainly, everyone agrees, that he's been a very good representative. Moving on, the TIF, or the organization, what is it, not the TIF, the TIF is part of the organization. It's the, what is the organization belong to? The Enterprise Zone. I drew a blank. They're working on getting baskets again this year on 8th Avenue, and they're looking at a little different program this year. They weren't real pleased with the baskets last year, though they were nice, but they weren't very pleased with it. So what they're planning on doing is they're planning on putting more baskets, lowering the baskets so that they're in a little bit better view. They're looking to probably put in about 150 baskets. So they're going to really put a lot more flower and color on the avenue, 8th Avenue, throughout all the boroughs. You know, they're going to be looking for funding. You know, I'm sure they'll be talking to people. I wanted to keep you abreast of what's going on in the meetings, so that you know what they're talking about. They're also talking about renaming the TIF program down there, part of that program. So those are things that may happen. This past month, I met with Jesse Wigg. He's remodeling the home here on 21st Avenue. Beautiful job. We talked about it at the meeting here at the workshop. He has several other units he's developing. He's redoing this building here that caught on fire here. They did a very nice job on 21st Avenue. Beautiful. We need more of this stuff to be done. They have several other units that they're working on, and they have a lot of rental units. So they're invested in here. They're young people, and they're really working at it. So very good job. Beautiful, beautiful job they did there. Getting complaints from people, from residents about garbage in their backyards, and garbage cans not being with lids on them, and several properties, and I've told Dave about it. So as a concern, just make sure your garbage lids are on, and make sure that they're covered so that they're working, because the little things sometimes mean a lot to other people, okay? A couple things I want to talk about for the next couple of months. I think we should change the meeting for the children. I think we should have a special meeting for the children here. I don't think it's good to bring all the children in here and have all of them in here and then try to discuss borough business and have them vote on things. It should be a separate meeting. We can have it geared to the kids. They can talk about what they want to do, what things they want to be interested in. It could be made into a much more fun type of an experience instead of, you know, having them vote on this and that. So I've talked to Becky about it. We're going to look into maybe contacting the school, trying to set it up for maybe Thursday instead of Wednesday. I think the Friday is the day, is the parade day. So the prior weeks to that, we'll be going, the week or so prior to that, we'll be going to the school and talking with all the kids there. So I really think that is a much better venue than having all these people come in here and crowd the room up, and then we may have the horse people back here. I think it should be a dedicated day for the kids and make it a fun day and a little bit more special. And we can tell them, hey, bring your agenda to the program and see what you all want to do, and let them bring something that they want to talk about and make it more involved for them, a little bit more fun, because it is a great day. Mr. Coles, are you still here? He left, he does a great job, and hats off to him. But there's another guy here, Daryl Hunt, who just spoke to you guys earlier. He calls me when there is an emergency. He calls Pat, and he is on top of it. I gotta thank you so much for all the work you do. And it's an unwilling, unthankful job. He's out there for landslides. He calls me, we're out here directing traffic for water breaks. We need 10 more of him because they're just unfound people. Thank you, Daryl, for all your work.
People go on the internet, I forgot to tell you this earlier, Pennsylvania Emergency Preparedness Guide. It's to help us help you. If you want to see what you should do to help us to be better prepared for a case of an emergency. It's been on TV, but there's no response. I mean, it's PennsylvaniaReady.gov is what you get searched on the internet, and you can get a pamphlet like that and tell you everything you need to do.
Thank you, Daryl. Thank you. So a couple other things I want to address. I got you, Daryl. Cameras on Main Street I already talked to. When the chief comes out, I want him to talk about the Homestead Bridge construction project. Is it happening? I want a little bit more information so everyone knows about that. If you can reiterate on that. Our police department is by far very well staffed, trained. I know we're going to be hiring a new police officer. I want him to talk about that for a minute. It's for retirement. Is that correct? We're replacing a retired police officer. We're replacing him. So, you know, it'll be good to get another young man on our staff again. Or woman. Absolutely. Question on Harvey Street construction, is it still, it's sort of stopped down there, so do we have any information on that?
He's he had to order some pipe. We found another pipe that was rusted out. I talked to him today, he should be here tomorrow depending on the weather.
So there was a piping issue or problem, something there?
We found one deeper than the 48.
Pardon me?
We found a pipe deeper than the 48-inch pipe.
Well, we're gonna vote on that tonight, Joe. There was a pipe that had to go from Harvey Avenue section right in Wood Hill, and it went on an angle through like below Severa's yard into the catch basin. So you had to put another manhole cover in there, had to fix the tin whistle. Therefore, we needed to get another proposal from him, quote. We got the quote, just looked it over and everything, and we're gonna vote on that tonight.
Great.
And then he'll be starting tomorrow to pick back up where it
Good,
was.
good. Thank you. Thank you. A couple other things I wanted to talk about was the cleaning of the Burr building, which Maureen brought up, and I'm glad to hear that we got some work in there. Are we going to work on the floors at all?
Saturday.
Saturday we're going to come in again, and our own guys are coming in to do that. Great. Be looking forward to that because they're just really they're crying. They're crying. A couple other things I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to relieve you all my problem. Just a couple comments that I found about attending this meeting here, and Mr. Aldrich probably left. We should pay the guy. We should pay him what we owe him, and we should invite him here every 2 months. Please come in and give us a report, and have him come in and do that on a bi-monthly basis. That way, he's invited. He comes here, we talk to him, and it's not a gnashing of the teeth all the time. It would be a good working relationship. We need them. We absolutely need them.
Why don't you have a conversation with him to discuss how we can help him? I tried to do this. How we can help him as the borough to increase his subscriptions.
I would be
His
glad to do
subscription, 17% of Munhall residents gives to Mountain. So our own people
aren't given to them. And if we can help them in any way of
Marketing.
awareness, I would hope everybody here that doesn't give to them, that sees how important
I'm willing-
50 bucks is, would think about twice not giving.
I'm willing to do that.
Is
I'd be
anybody
more than
from-
happy to do that.
Is anybody from the Valley Mayor here tonight? No. Well, let's try to get that word out to them, the Valley Mayor, and maybe we can, if we can, put it on the website.
We can, certainly we can put it on the website.
Only because the website's a problem, that's why
I understand.
I was laughing because I didn't.
Well, the Crime Watch page, we can put anything
Put it on
on.
the Crime Watch page.
Yeah, we'll put it on the
Put it on the Crime Watch page.
Absolutely, it should be there. Absolutely.
I think they can do a little better job in their mailer too. And put maybe a letter in there or some kind of an article in there, to help them out.
Good, well, that's where conversation comes in, and they bring them to the table, we can work together. It's a win-win, because we absolutely need them.
Yeah, we do.
We need them.
Maybe it should be in the Valley Mirror as, I never knew that if you didn't have a subscription and I called them to come to my house, that I pay a full bill.
Yeah.
Until Rainey told me that last month, so I can guarantee 80% of the people
People don't know that.
don't know that. If, maybe we should put that in the
Especially if
Valley
they don't have
Mirror like
insurance.
that.
Patty, that's
I
their
see when it comes in the
responsibility.
mail.
That's
She
their
still doesn't pay
responsibility.
the whole
It's whose
bill.
responsibility?
It's MAP's responsibility. We asked them, I already talked to them these conversations.
If they would put that in their mailer, because every person in Monroe gets that mail from them, the bill. If they would put something in their mailer saying that,
So,
Okay, well.
so I'm
Numbers you gave us today.
Then
Now,
everybody-
I mean, that's why people don't subscribe, and that's why the subscriptions are so low, so.
So
if
right
we're doing
now-
that, just put it in the paper.
right now, I'd like
Start.
Becky, this month, to put a little message from the mayor. Please subscribe to the MAPS. Message from Rick Brennan, the mayor. Please subscribe to MAPS. They need your funding.
And if you don't, and you call,
Enough. That's all.
I'm just saying, I mean,
Let's
people
start.
need to know why they should
I
subscribe.
agree, they do need to know why.
They could also be asking for grants. And if you get this new company that comes in, they can piggyback on with you, and they can ask for grants as well. So this is a win-win situation. I agree. This is great. I can't see a doggone thing wrong with it. Fantastic. The horse thing is a problem. How would you like to live there in 85 degrees weather on a windy day and have the horse flies attack you?
With babies in the backyard.
This gotta be changed. We gotta do something. And I urge council to get an ordinance prepared to change it, and I will sign it. I can adopt one if you'd like me to. If you want me to adopt one, I'll adopt one, and I'll give it to our solicitor to do that.
That's not gonna help the cause. We can do it for the future, but as far as the present,
Well, we have to do something rather than not do
yeah, you have to
anything.
do something with the present.
So let's step forward and do it. I'm more than happy to help. That's why I'm here. And I question the barn thing, Dave. We need to talk about that later, because I can't see how you can build a structure there and not have a permit for it.
An agricultural building is not regulated by the UCC. I have to follow the state UCC rules. That's why I'm certified.
What constitutes an agricultural building? A barn? I could build a 50 by 100 barn in the back of my house and say, Dave, get off my property, I'm building a 200-foot barn.
According to the state, you do not need that for a log cabin. That's another one.
Wow, I'm amazed. Totally amazed.
Says it right here, Mayor.
It's the law.
I'm just asking. That's why I asked. Thank you. Can I have this? Okay. Other than that, I thank you all.
You're gonna need a new notebook for next month.
I'm going to.
Okay, report of the solicitor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Try to make this quick. Finalize the the zoning ordinance for 9th and 10th Avenue rezoning, reviewed the lease agreement, reviewed and addressed with Walker Health several issues regarding pension plans, and specifically with regard to employees, which is personal, but worked on that. Also, reviewed numerous contracts that the borough is planning to, or considering to enter into, and made recommended changes. Worked as always with the borough manager doing that, and also prepared a consent to raise agreement for a property at 930 Ravine Street, which I think was signed. Is that right, Joe? Is that signed? 930 Ravine?
Yeah. They signed it.
That covers it all. Thank you.
We got our Carnegie Library quote in, the tax bill of $122,873.33, and I'd like to thank Carol Street for coming to make sure that I talked about that. Our paving projects, bids were open today. In my report, I said we are reviewing the information. However, we will put a motion on here. Council is, we'll have a motion on the table to do the whole entire paving project of $471,556.22, which is the largest amount we put into paving in a single year ever since I've been here. So that will be a motion. We're gonna need that.
And that doesn't include us doing alleys, right?
No, that does not. We will still have some of those.
We're gonna do some alleys, right?
We had a lot of stress in the office with the audits we have from the state. Pennsylvania state auditors came in to do our liquid fuel audit. Becky, great job with putting up with both of them. The liquid fuels audit went pretty good. Pension audit, we had some issues from 2012, 13, 14 that we're working through, but for the most part, we're on the right track. I'm working on the Steel Valley Refuge Agreement. 3 years ago when I started, they called up and said, hey, we have an RFP for picking up our garbage, you want it? I asked Bob, he said, yeah. So we added 3-year plans coming up, they want us to increase it for 5 more years. So we will have a motion to approve that. Do we do a motion like that? Motion to approve rescue agreement for 16
You
years.
can do it, so the council president, you can handle it anytime he feels it's appropriate. You can do it tonight.
Wanna do it right
We can
now?
add it on.
Wanna do it right now?
You can do it now if you want to. It's up to you. Well,
Motion to approve Steel Valley Refuge Agreement for 5-year plan for $1,670 a month.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Sean, all in
Comment on the
favor?
motion?
Yeah, comments on the motion are allowed because it's a agenda item.
When you say Still Valley Refuge, who's Still Valley?
School district,
Okay, so it's with the school district that you're doing it?
correct.
And what time of the day will you be picking it up there?
Anytime between 7 a.m. and 3 p.m., as requested by the RFP.
I only ask because I remember from attending school board meetings in the past that, where Park School has their dumpsters, is it a problem for our vehicles to get up there to?
We've been doing this for 3 years prior, we never had any issue whatsoever. We don't anticipate the next 5 years to have any issues on top of it.
Okay, I'm just making the comments because of the way some of the employees and there's other people that park up there. If there's any damage to the cars, who's responsible for that?
Depends who hit the car. If we hit the car, we're responsible for it.
Okay, thank you.
And then,
Wait, the motion.
Yeah.
Let's vote on that.
Yeah, we have to.
Motion by Mr. Bell, second by Mr. Ravine.
Yeah.
Mr. Dishon, I'm sorry, Mr. Dishon, all in favor, say by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Motion carries.
and one other thing I'd just like to bring up, we applied for an LGA intern, and we are awarded. What we're gonna do is try to bring Dave's office, code enforcement office, up to the 2019 era as far as digitalize it, upgrade some processes, maybe some ordinances or whatever we feel. We're gonna give Dave some help to get the code enforcement officers improved. That is my report.
Thank you. Okay, report of the engineer, Colin's not here tonight, but we have an old friend back, Jess Antel.
Hi, it's nice to
Hi,
be back.
Jess.
Joe already touched on the paving project. We did receive 7 bids, and I prepared a bid tabulation and checked all the bids, and then the lowest bid was an accurate amount. We already touched on the contract 2018-01, the stormwater stream bank improvements. We do have that request approval for change order number 1 that we'll need for replacing the tin whistle pipe that we talked about earlier. And also mentioning that Creative Enterprises will be back on site, weather permitting tomorrow. And that's
We have to we will have to motion to accept the Creative Enterprise bid of $15,000.
Which was far lower than we thought it was going to be.
And also we're gonna have on the paving project. Okay.
Any questions? Okay, report of Public Works, Bob.
All I have is I have two employees they're gonna go for their CDL. And I need council's approval of coming to school.
We hold on, did we?
How many we got now that have CDL?
They did.
9 or 10.
9 or 10? For CDL? How many trucks do you have?
9.
Oh, 1 for each guy.
These two individuals went out on their own, got their license or permits.
They got permits.
Yeah, they got the permits on their own. So it would help them get it if we take them to these classes. Everybody we sent to these classes, they cost about $1,200 per person. And everyone has passed since we put them through there. Prior to that, we did not.
Why do you think the borough?
We have one retiring. We have one of our employees retiring. Jimmy, if I'm not mistaken.
Do we find ourselves in situations where like guys are off sick or they're just taking a day off and we don't have enough guys to drive all the trucks we have?
Yeah, because other time we'll have them.
Yeah.
So in the summer, is it normal that you may only have 4 or 5 guys that can drive?
Yeah.
And because of vacations or whatever?
For salting and snow removal.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yes.
Yeah. What's the motion then? What's the motion on that?
All right, we are, Tim Augustine and Patrick. Do it right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to accept Patrick Gribb and Timothy Augustine to Allstate Careers for CDL training.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Engel, second, Mr. Rodan. All in favor, questions on the motion?
Did you say it was $1,200?
Yes.
Per driver, right?
Do they guarantee that they'll stay with the borough for a couple years?
Right,
in
do they
order
have
to
work
recoup the money
requirements?
from the borough paying for their CDL license?
Right.
Good question.
Do they have work
Never
requirements?
had that issue.
I mean,
They still might go somewhere
In the
else.
past, they've always stayed, and we haven't had turnover in the
Right.
past, but you never know, right?
most average people pay to get their own CDL license.
That's a CDL.
Not a borough.
Yeah,
My husband, right?
especially CDL.
Question on the motion.
Come to the borough.
Okay. Yeah.
All in favor, somebody saying aye?
Aye.
Nays?
Nay.
A report of the police chief.
Mr. President, for the month of February, which is typically a slow month for the police department, these numbers indicate that. Colder temperatures, 430 calls for the month, 32 arrests, 44 citations issued. The mayor asked me to speak about the work being done on High Level Bridge. I believe that's starting on the 25th of this month, continuing till June, with lane restrictions alternating at different times of the day. Resurfacing work, I would imagine. So, I don't really have a lot more to talk about with that. he asked me to speak about, we did advertise for police officers to replace an officer who was retired. We are also working a little bit short, so we have 2 officers off injured, 1 job related, 1 non-job related. They should both be short-term absences. I really don't have anything else to report unless you have any questions for the police department.
Thank you, Chief.
Do you have any activity with what's going on downtown?
We've had no problems at all. The city's had no problems.
Yeah, so far town's been very quiet. You gotta see the salt trucks parked on the corners.
I've had officers in court on different cases, yesterday and today, and they said that the courthouse is open. There's really no other cases going on this time, so not a lot. So
The traffic.
I don't see any problems in the police department.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Okay, let's go to the fire chief, Ed.
Thank you, Mr. President. February, unfortunately, wasn't a slow month for us. We responded to 48 calls for assistance, putting in a little bit, about 1,600 man hours for the month. The rest of my report you guys already have. And sitting here all night, I forgot what the heck else I wanted to talk about. So, any questions for the fire department?
Yeah, I want to ask you real quick.
Yeah.
That false alarms there?
Yeah.
3401, you went there 3 times?
Yes. They don't know how to cook.
Wow.
Actually, I don't write a lot of those in there. If it's a true false alarm is a system failure. Somebody cooking, setting off a smoke detector is considered, it's not really a false alarm because the system did what it was supposed to do. It's a false alarm because there's no fire there. But this false alarms are generally system failures. There's no explanation for it. That one there, 1 out of the 3 times might have been cooked.
Are you detected from their smoke alarm, or are they calling the smoke alarm?
ADT or Guardian or whatever.
ADT or Guardian is
They didn't even know
notifying
we
the
were
fire
coming all
department.
3 times. They were surprised. And I saw a big fire truck. Any other questions? Alrighty then.
Thank you, Ed. Okay, code enforcement.
You have a copy of my report. The only thing I have to add is last month I gave you a abandoned property list for 2019 with 64 properties on it. I'm happy to say that 4 of those properties have been purchased by someone else, so they'll be taken off the list.
All right, great, very good.
And also, Mayor mentioned Jesse Wigg. Myself and Joe met with him a week ago too, and there's another investor that's even has more money than his investment group that's coming into Munhall area.
Right. Any questions for Burr? Okay, public comments on agenda items? Items for consideration, public comments from Donna? Okay, let's go first in that one.
Yeah, motion 1. So this will go ahead and include the public hearing and the mailings that have to be done for the rezoning of this property.
The mailings aren't required because this is a comprehensive rezoning. That's part of the ordinance itself, but there'll be conspicuous posting all over the areas.
So they'll post down there, plus they'll post up here to 22nd Street?
We're gonna post the area that's being rezoned.
Yeah, but isn't right now from 9th Avenue up to 22nd is R1? That's all under the
We're
same
only
area?
posting the area where the zoning is changing. That immediate area will be posted as many places as we can. It'll be documented, there'll be a public hearing for the public to speak out before there's a vote taken on that. There will not be names.
Okay, do we know when the public hearing will be?
Presumably next month.
Next month? Is it gonna be the same night of the council meeting, or will it be a different night?
I think it's just.
I mean, right now it'll be the same night, I mean,
We'll have to
council
decide
meeting,
before we post it.
but I mean, if we hear there's gonna be, 25 speakers, maybe we'll do something separate. That'll be a decision we make when we see.
I mean, they can move it up to 6:30. It's up to
We can move the
council.
time up if we need to.
It makes sense to do it on the same night. It's
Do
up to-
we foresee rezoning these 2 streets, or the street and a half? Do we foresee it coming up further to 11th in the future?
I haven't heard any discussion about that.
Okay, because just a few years ago, I think it was, we rezoned
part of Boone Alley or Boone Way, however you want to word it, to the one part of 9th Avenue. And now we're coming up where this could have been solved then.
Nobody asked for it.
Okay.
This was,
It was
it
not-
also goes to planning commission.
The
They make a
planning commission, is
recommendation.
anyone here from the planning commission? Is it, has anything been brought up to the planning commission about this?
Just recently?
I don't know what Dawn is asking, you have to see
I'm
what
just
she's
asking her,
asking.
do we foresee it being coming up further? Any more other zoning?
No.
Okay, just thought I'd ask.
Hmm?
Because I believe years ago it was R2, it was an R2 district and we rezoned it to R1.
Yes, several years ago.
Okay, thank you. Okay, motion 3. How many grants will they be writing?
As many as possible.
Okay.
I mean, there's no limit. I mean, definitely be more than one. We've already know what they've done for the library. They got the library $500,000 for music halls. 600,000 for the music halls. So I think this is one of the best deals.
I understand it. How long is this contract for?
1 year.
1 year? Okay, only because it doesn't say that in here.
Right.
So will they be going out looking for grants for us also?
Yeah, absolutely. They will look for them. Plus, they will also take recommendations. If council or the mayor has a recommendation they know one they want to look at, we can also tell them that.
Yeah, and any organization that's affiliated with the borough
Right.
can go through them for grants. So, I mean, we don't know how much we can get, we're gonna try to max them out.
Okay, because I know we had grant writers before and nothing ever panned out.
Nothing like this.
This
Okay,
one's a lot
no,
different.
well, I
This one's-
understand.
Why don't we have Carol
Carol,
Shreve
tell us
stand
your
up and tell us?
experience.
Carol can tell us.
The library hired, well, no, let me backpedal here. I had no clue Munhall Borough was even looking at Wellington. I found out through a mutual friend and Joe Kuklas, who's the principal, I emailed him, I said, is this true? And he said, yeah, and I said, boy, nobody even told me in the borough. And we hired Wellington a year ago, and for 1 year, and their contracts, because they're lobbyists, are 1 year. And they register with the state, and I was so impressed with the work that they did. It's probably close to a standard rate that we're paying just about the same that the borough's paying. What's very unique about them is I know that Rick talked a lot about what Austin will do for us. And, you know, for us, it's Austin and Summer Lee and Jay Costa. But there are folks up in Harrisburg that may not care for them. So they want to vote the opposite way. Their job is to get in front of the people who maybe are on the other side of the table and also talk about your projects. And so it's not just writing grants. They're in Harrisburg fighting for your grants for you. They're talking to other state representatives and senators from all over the state to vote for your grant in Harrisburg. I will tell you, they are worth their weight in gold. They have more connections than I've been so impressed. This morning, I went to a legislative breakfast with them, with County Executive Fitzgerald. Tomorrow morning, we're meeting with Raja, who's the Senate candidate, just to get our name in front of them, because if, you know, there are grants coming up, when they come across their table, they come across their desk, they're gonna say, hey, I remember talking to Joe Varhola. I remember this project. I remember this green space that they need money for. Yes, even though I might not care for this senator or this representative, I'm still voting for this. And that's their role, and they do a very good job of it. I think they're one of the best in Pittsburgh, and you know they're in Harrisburg, they're in DC. They're not only fighting for grants, but they're fighting for changes in law. And I think that it would really, really do the borough a lot of good too. Not that I'm totally happy, because I don't want to share the money with you. Let me be very clear. Now we got to share our caps and CITFs and all them. But you know, it's a good thing to have them in the borough. It's a very good thing. You'll be very pleased with them.
Are you gonna go with them year by year? or-
Yes, that's the way the state. I guess the laws of it. Yes.
Okay, thank you. After motion 10 and 11, do we know what our balance is?
In the neighborhood of $1,572,918.54.
Thank you. 54 cents, okay. And you are going to be adding 2 new motions, correct? And do we know how?
They already did those.
We still have the paving project and
We didn't do the paving project.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not.
Okay, the first one's a paving project. Do we know when they'll be starting?
we didn't give them, we don't even
No,
know they got
no
it.
flashlights, don't worry.
I
No
just wonder if I have to
flashlights.
buy
No
batteries or
flashlights.
flashlights so they can figure it.
No flashlights. We are.
You know, so they finish it before it gets dark out.
No flashlights.
Do remember,
They have to have flashlights.
well,
Big ones.
well, you do know. And I hope they don't leave any dips in the street like they did up on my street after they were done paving. You have nothing but puddles up there with the rain.
With a
Ice
flashlight
whenever
battery
it
probably
gets
went, they
cold.
didn't see that dip.
Yeah, not because they didn't have a flashlight.
Don't get it this time.
It's a proper flashlight. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Very good, Doug.
Okay. Questions on items of consideration? Yes, sir.
I have, again, also a question on motion 1. Providing next month, then you do have the public hearing for the proposal, would we, or could we expect the same night then to have a vote on accepting that proposal, or would that be pushed ahead? What's the schedule from that point?
It's up to council, but as long as the advertising is properly made and the area is properly posted as required by law, as I've directed them to have to do. If that's all done, then we'll be ready to go forward with a hearing next month, assuming that's all completed correctly. Then council can vote that night. The change of zoning will be effective immediately if they do so.
Okay.
The council always has 3 things they can do. They can vote for it, they can vote against it, or they can table it. So that's the 3 options council always has.
Okay, thank you.
Chaz?
Yeah, this is regarding the property at 930 Ravine Street. Mr. Bahola, I've appreciated your conversations. Rob, you as well. I just wonder if there's a time frame on when that demolition may start. Within the last 24 hours, the whole roof of that structure has collapsed. And the very peak of the roof on the side has unsecured itself and has kind of fallen and swung. I have pictures on my phone. That's a very dangerous situation down there between that and now nothing supporting the chimney. Just wonder if there's a time frame on that. That's all. Thank you.
Well, we didn't vote yet to approve these. However, once this is approved, I'm pretty sure it will be approved tonight. Tomorrow, I will call them and let him know. I'll send him a formal letter through email, letting him know that it was approved and he can start. And then
First available date that he has.
yeah.
Okay, and I apologize. I thought Mr. Solicitor said that it was already signed off on.
They signed off on the agreement. Remember I was telling you they consented
Yes.
to us being able to tear it down in a payment plan. So they consented and they signed that agreement. So we're allowed to tear down their home.
And then we have to award the contract. That's step 2. That's on the motion tonight. We need authority, legal authority to enter their property, which they have signed. Step 2, award the contract. Step 3, tell the contractor to get in there ASAP.
It's getting very dangerous over there. Thank you.
Thanks, Chaz. Anybody else? On agenda items?
Yeah, I'm requesting that street lit back in our residents. Are you going to want back or not? At 132 Crawford.
It's not on agenda items. I know we talked about brighter bulbs. He's talking about the alley back of Crawford.
Yeah, so that is very dark back there. We do need an extra street light. The street lights back there not are adequate enough.
I notified Duquesne Light.
Okay, did you notify Duquesne Light?
I notified Duquesne Light to increase the light wattage.
Light wattage? Okay. And then Mr. Brennan brought up about Main Street. I think you should include a grant too for getting a crosswalk repair up there.
I agree.
Those crosswalks.
I agree, they're terribly dangerous. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Items of consideration.
Motion to advertise an ordinance amending the zoning map, providing for the rezoning of parcels of land fronting on 9th and 10th Avenues from Andrew Street to McClure Street, from R1 to B2.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman
Second.
Sean, second by Councilman Ballas. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries.
Motion to engage in contract with HHR Construction and Excavation for $7,500 to demolish 930 Ravine Street.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Ballas, second by Mr. DeShawn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries.
Motion to ratify agreement with Wellington Strategies to contract grant business in the amount of $28,800
Annually.
annually.
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilman Stein, second by Councilman Bodadian. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries.
Motion to hire Laura Honick as the new full-time police clerk at the rate of $15 per hour pending a pre-employment drug screening and background check.
Motion by Councilman Bodadian,
Second.
second by Councilman DeShawn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries.
Motion to purchase a Craftco, that number, tar buggy through state contract from Airvac Equipment in the amount of $38,700.
Motion.
Check that amount, get rid of 1 0.
Yeah, I did, I thought, sorry.
Yeah, it's not that much.
No.
Motion by Mr. Engels,
Second.
second by Councilman Ballas. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries.
Motion to approve the placement of handicap sign at 205 Emerson Street per approval by Officer Williams and Chief Campbell.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Ballas,
Second.
second by Councilman DeShawn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries.
Motion to approve the placement of handicap sign at 3610 Main Street as approved by Officer Williams and Chief Campbell.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Councilman Engels, second by Councilman Ballas. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Question, Rob.
Yes, question.
Where is that at on Main Street?
That is basically in front of Linda Squire's Hair Salon.
Okay.
Is it a resident?
Or she is
I think she applied as a business owner.
okay.
Oh, okay.
She does have a lot of customers
Yeah.
that go in there that are,
Okay.
you'd have some problems. Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries.
Motion to approve the denial of the placement of a handicap sign at 1916 Whitaker Way as denied by Officer Williams and Chief Campbell.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Stein.
There's no parking on that side of Whitaker Way. There's no parking.
I didn't think so.
What was the request about? Who knows?
Happens all the time.
Okay, second by Councilman Bodadian. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries.
Motion to approve the February 20th, 2019 minutes.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Bodadian, second by Councilman Ballas. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries.
Motion to pay bills for the period of February 20th, 2019 through March 19th, 2019, summarized as follows: $432,334.98.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Councilman Engels, second by Councilman Bodadian. The miscellaneous, can you, or Joe?
Expand on
Yeah,
that.
expand on the miscellaneous. It's a little high, a little higher than usual.
I cannot, but I can get back to you.
I can
Okay.
The big chunk of that is the payment for insurance.
Insurance?
Yeah.
Okay. I just signed a big thing for insurance tonight, then I should have done that.
That's it.
I
Yep.
signed that check. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Motion to approve payroll for the period of February 7th and February 21st, summarized as follows: $287,894.73.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Bell, second by Councilman DeShawn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Motion carries.
New motion is number 12, motion to approve the 2019 paving project to A-Lib Running Incorporated in the amount of $471,556.22.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Councilman Engel, second by Councilman Valentine. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nays? Motion carries.
Motion 13 is to approve.
Hold up.
Question.
Are they the contractor that worked for us last year that gave us such good prices?
2 years ago, they did it right by Calvert and all that, yeah, I was gonna say that too. We had them 2 years, they did quite a bit.
What was their name again?
AJ Liberoni.
Yeah.
They did good work, did a lot of good.
They did, no, that was Morgan. But they did a good job for us.
They did do it.
When I saw them one day, I was glad that they
came in a little better.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the 5-year refuse agreement with Still Valley School District in the amount of $1,670 per month.
Did we vote on this one?
Yeah, we voted on that one. The next one is approve the change order for Creative Enterprises for Harvey Avenue, Shady.
Yeah, I don't have that one written down.
So moved there.
Why don't let Joe, go ahead with
Will
that.
you read that off?
Yeah, change order for the Harvey Avenue Extension Shady Avenue project for $15,000.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Swan, second by Councilman Valentine. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Nays? Motion carries. No more? Okay, I just want to welcome back Mr. Burke. Hasn't seen him in a few months. Welcome back, Tom. Member of our zoning, good citizen, been here a long time, and
Admired your flag in your yard. Did you just put that up? Beautiful. I love it. It's bigger.
And Community Day is slated for September 21st this year. There was an article in the Valley Mirror last week. Vendors, looking for any vendors that want to participate. We're putting together a good program again. We do that in partnership with the library, with Carol, and it's Munhall Borough and Library do the Community Day together. And same place, same time, Troutman Field. We'll promise some good entertainment, a lot of fun. I think our next meeting for that is April 29th. Chris and Carol. I think we're doing, I know it's a week after, I think it's a week after.
Week after the Pitt Penn State game.
No, the week after Easter.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we scheduled intentionally the week after the Pitt Penn State game because, I don't know if you know, I'm a big Pitt fan and my wife's a big Penn State fan, and if we ever get a chance to go to the game, we're gonna go. I want to be here for Community Day.
Motion to adjourn.
Question, one other thing.
Yes.
When is the field going to be officially open, Westfield? Because I'm having, residents are asking me, is the basketball courts going to be open? Is the fences open? Or people can walk out there?
Yeah, we told Zach over today, first day of spring, open them up for the walkers. This field, as far as people to be able to use the field, is when Chatham and Still Valley, more or less Still Valley is completed because Chatham's done May 15th, and Still Valley, who knows how long they're going to go, as high school could weather could June. And the basketball courts, we went down, I went down the other day and I took pictures of the basketball courts. There was so much garbage and stuff lined up around the garbage cans. I leave it to the sergeant in charge.
Okay.
To whatever they want to do, because they're the ones that have to live there. So they shut it down for 30 days, and they let them all know when they come in there, and why it's shut down for 30 days.
So when are we potentially going to open it? Do you have a date?
Basketball courts?
Yeah.
If somebody wants to,
About another 2 weeks,
yeah,
I think.
a couple weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Also, just for the record, 11th Avenue is not in that rezoning. I had residents ask me about that area as well. And how do you go about changing a street to a one-way street? Because they were talking about maybe making 11th Avenue a one-way street down there as well. So
I talked to probably the same person or another neighbor today about it. I had a nice conversation with her. I asked her to send me, not a formal letter, but a nice email of what you're looking to do and what the problems are. A lot of it could be resolved by Carol saying, hey, we're gonna be a little bit heavier today, and let Pat know, so we can maybe have somebody down there to help with, you know, where people are parking and some different things like that. So she had some ideas, so I asked her to send that to me. We may, before we just change it to one way, why not look into some other options to probably alleviate the pain?
Carol lets us know when she's having an event down there that's gonna lead to parking problems, you know, more traffic. She's good with that.
Well, we have
another picture.
So not only that area, but people up in Munhall Gardens have asked, can we look into changing streets up there into one-way stuff? Is it done by ordinance, or is it done by,
If council approves it, we always at least have the police make a review and they offer their opinion and their recommendation. There has to be a traffic study done. But ultimately, council votes to approve it. Depending on how the ordinance is written, it can be done by resolution typically. If not, then you have to do a new ordinance to amend the ordinance.
okay, thank you.
I have one more question. Do we have any update on the batch project? They were supposed to break ground in February, it's still not happened. Does anybody have any updates on that?
Probably if you go over to this, what they call it, clubhouse, probably go in there and ask the people in there what their timetable are. It's my son-in-law, so I know he's in there.
That's for Ryan.
Yeah,
I know.
he'll give you any information you need.
We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Ravine.
Second.
Adjournment, and second by Councilman Shaw, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.